All right. Welcome to another snippet they've released of FanFest 2023. This guy says he's been around for over a decade, and he mentioned in this look and feel, lots of feels there, the fleet fight, large fleet fight, record fleet fight. And when you say record fleet fight in Eve, that means TiDi. And this guy's been around forever. Look and feel. Yes, DirectX 9. Look at the pretty ships. And oh, look at record. He was saying we're improving over 2 decades the look and feel of Eve. Oh, record fleet flight, blah, blah, look and feel. And he just continued on. And it's like, you cannot say we're improving over 2 decades. Look, TiDi, we're going to improve that and imply that, which he didn't. It was a flat out lie. This guy is literally the guy who introduced TiDi. And right here is the key. 2 steps. The 2 steps they were going to do. TiDi and dealing with reduced load or increasing processing capacity. They wanted to do 2 things. There's painfully few options. And they needed to do 2 things, and they needed to get there someday. But that day is not today. Because it's just more bullshit.
All the way back in 2001, where the look and feel wasn't well defined at that point, to the open and closed beta periods of 2002, we're constantly evolving that look and feel. Modernizing the engine capabilities, the art pipelines, we've released countless 3D model redesigns, texture and shader updates, completely overhauling the lighting and visual effects, to the graphics API upgrades, moving from DirectX 9 to 11, and now we're on 12. This transformation represents 2 decades worth of modernization effort, all while needing to support your record-setting fleet fights, some of the largest PvP battles in gaming history, something you should be so proud of. You don't make it easy for us, but we really wouldn't have it any other way, and we are definitely not done with modernizing the look and feel of Eve.
I want to stress that when he said the fleet fights and they make it hard for you, all he said about that is supporting, and then he says, you don't make it easy for us. And then he drops right back into we're improving the look and feel, which has got absolutely effing nothing to do with the second leg of TiDi. I want to stress to you that since they introduced this stopgap situation, they have still not got there. And I don't believe they've ever intended to get there. I believe that we are stuck with TiDi forever. And they will never, ever, ever put any effort into figuring out anything other than, oh, well, TiDi solves it. All right, let's move on to something else. Like, oh, shaders. That's cool, right? What's the new thing they're going to come up with or bullshit us with? You can literally go back to FanFest 2011, the keynote, and you can watch the bullshit on the screen, literally. It's fun. They use a lot more swear words, which was nice. They're very, down to earth and, kind of cool. But it was all crap. And yeah. Yeah. They invested. They talked about it investing in a new server module uh, kit or whatever. I don't do servers. I don't do IT at all. I'd like to one day, but whatever. So yeah, these guys bragged about getting a $50,000 new server, one single server, which is awesome. I mean, it's great when they invest the earnings they get from us into the hardware and software that is supporting the heavy fleet fights and the day-to-day operations of Eve. That's awesome. Um, but at the same time, that was 2011. That was a dozen years ago when they introduced TiDi. You have to remember, think what you were doing back in 2011. Like, what were you doing in 2011? Like, what was Microsoft doing back in 2011? What was RuneScape doing that back in 2011? What was World of Warcraft doing? What was I'm assuming Blizzard was still in its heyday. Uh, Blizzard's heyday. How do you even say the golden era? I guess golden era, golden age. Ended more than a decade ago, so they were still riding high. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. It was. I'm assuming the release of StarCraft two. Uh, StarCraft, Diablo 2. God, I still play Diablo 2. Still a hell of a fun game. StarCraft 2, they first released. There we go. Yeah, StarCraft 2. Diablo 3. Yeah, there we go. Diablo 3. Which kind of sucked, actually. I was very unimpressed. Overwatch 2, Diablo. Oh, where's Legacy of the Void? So 2013. Got it. Okay, so yeah. The heyday was StarCraft 2. And it released, yeah, and then next year, 2 years later, it was Diablo 3, yeah. Okay, so started to fall apart just about then. So Blizzard has fallen from graces from the era of the golden era then to now. They've fallen from graces. CCP, well, they just staggered along like a zombie. But there's no. I'm just saying the epic changes that have happened in gaming. You know, when did Skyrim come out? Skyrim release date. Oh my God, 2011. Perfect. So Skyrim came out. You know, Skyrim came out. StarCraft 2 came out. Was a year in, and we were hearing, talk of, the next couple of years, StarCraft, the next episode of StarCraft 2 will be coming out. We've got Diablo 3. Yeah, we're talking, it's like, seriously, that's when, like, the modding community of Skyrim, have put in more programming time for free than these idiots at CCP who promised a dozen years ago that we'll get there someday, and they just freaking haven't. They just, what are they spending the income on? Have they reinvested in the infrastructure of this game that keeps them afloat? No, they fritter it away on the worlds of, what do they call it? It was supposed to be the vampire werewolf stuff from White Wolf that they purchased the IP for, and they frittered away. And Dust 514, which CCP Rat is headed, and it's just been this trendy IP, and Tilmarb's obsession with first person shooters that is the not the death of, but the stagnation of where we could be right now. You know, could you imagine large fleet fights that have less tie-dye and more? We'll get there someday, right? So it is obvious that I needed to say that, because a lot of people just, like you guys, a lot of you just are like 2 years, old in this game, which is a long time, but it's like, most of you guys probably started the game round about the pandemic, right? I mean, that's where most of my viewership came from. Um, and I'm assuming you got more interested in EVE Online by being able to spend more time on it. And hopefully, most of you, hopefully all of you, are in better financial straits than I am, and enjoying the game. Uh, and you're probably still young. You're probably like 30 and something. So, yeah, you wouldn't be aware of the actual truth behind the statements of what this guy's trying to feed you. And I don't believe that they are going to speak of that second leg, the, this stuff. They're going to brag about how carbon, which is behind tie-dye, and they're, what did they trot out? Carbon and quasar. They're gonna blab out carbon and quasar, and they're not gonna say anything definitive linking it to what he just frickin' said about, fleet fights, improving that, getting that tie-dye manageable, and bringing that tie-dye down for large fleet fights. Yeah, and that's, yeah, it was obvious back when I talked about it. Back in, when did I publish this? Year and a half ago. Yeah. I'll link this video. I think I go into it a bit more detail about that, and probably a bit more passionately. But yeah, I'm going to continue. I'll turn the video off and continue to listen to this guy splutter on. But I don't think I'd like to be proven wrong, so that's why I'm going to listen to it. Um, uh, During FanFest, I didn't bother. It was just my eyes started to roll back into my head as soon as he was blathering on about, look and feel, and bragged about, interjected the fleet fight, and then moved on from there almost within seconds. So I'll force myself to watch the rest of this, and hopefully I can edit in a correction at the end of this video. But if this is the end of the video, that didn't happen. Anyways, wish me luck.